Limited beliefs, don't have them. Classic
All right.
example of having limited beliefs and don't have them.
Yeah. No, let's get started. Welcome everybody to today's video, Ignite session number 9. So thanks for bearing with us. As you guys can see, we are going through the course. We're on session 9, lead generation. So this is all about lead generation, and something we were talking about today is lead follow-up. So we'll get into that next week, how to keep every lead. And that's where we'll start to build those follow-up and those touch campaigns. If you already have leads, start doing it now. Don't wait till next week. Get with one of us coaches and we will help you. More particularly, get with me. I can help you guys design exactly what your follow-up should look like, and then reach out to Ryan Thompson to start implementing it in command, right? Use the tools, use the systems that we have. It alleviates and takes so much off of your plate. You won't know that or feel the effects of it until you use it. Building things in command and using this technology, it does take some time. It's a headache, it's a burden, and we all know that. But just like we were talking about in scripts, you want to make sure you build the foundation of real estate in a concrete way, not from grass or straw or sticks, right? It needs to be solid. So that way, as you build your real estate empire, everything you do does not have the foundation crumble and crush, right? So let's get into it. Capturing more leads. Today's agenda, right? We're going to talk about systems, right? The system, you have to have a system in everything, a lead generation plan, a business plan, a system for follow-up. If you're not rocking a system, you're basically trying to take a handful of things, throw it at a wall, and hopefully something sticks. Versus getting that handful of, my metaphor is taking that handful of things that you want to do and have it stick to the wall, start making them sticky before you throw them at the wall, right? And getting them sticky is the systems that come with that, right? Prospecting versus marketing. We talk about this a lot in my one-on-ones, so I'm excited to kind of dive into that with you guys today about in a group setting. A gold mine of referrals. Something else we talked. I think I reviewed all of this material, and we kind of talked a lot about this in scripts today. The gold mine of referrals is understanding that your sphere of influence has people in their life. If you're just lead generating to your people, then you're probably not effectively creating mind share for them to think about the other people in their lives, right? And so the gold mine of referrals is what we'll go through. More sources, right? A lot of you guys maybe have gotten some lead generation systems up and running and are looking for maybe some other ways to capture leads. So we'll go through that and we'll mastermind that. How to capture every lead is mainly going to be going over some scripts. And then obviously we're going to talk about the daily success system. Did anybody have, before we get started, did anybody have any wins from last week in their daily 10-4? And here's where I'm asking this generic question, and I'm looking at a few people on here that have had some success that I want you guys to share right now. I'll call you out. You guys are all shy about your successes.
I'm getting 3 buyers pre-approved, and hopefully they'll sign with me.
Thank you, Hallie. You were one I was going to pick on. How did you get those 3 buyers?
One of them was from door knocking my farm. He's renting. He's an investor, so he has a couple properties. And then the other one I just stumbled upon when I was doing cold calls for my listing. And then the other one, my sister gave me her number. So still kind of cold, not really, but yeah.
Perfect. She's putting in the action, the efforts. Hallie, go back to your cold calling, right? She was cold calling around her new listing and not getting anywhere. And this is the power of not giving up and making sure that you stick with something for a 90-day period. It's not just 90 days though. You can't just do a couple of calls a day for 90 days and expect it to work. You have to do it methodically and run that system, right? Going back to what we're going to go over today is systems work. You have to purposefully do something for 90 days and it will end up panning out. So she was getting goose egg after goose egg after goose egg. And then yesterday, bam, got that lead. Do you know, Hallie, how many people you've talked to in a cold calling manner?
I I would have to look at my spreadsheet, but I'm pretty sure I dialed like gosh, more than that, like a lot. So I was getting very frustrated because I had talked to hundreds of people and it was all just no, no, don't know anybody. So, but I just kept going and then finally I got a couple people.
Yeah,
I would love
every
to-
100 you dialed, only one was going to say that. Right?
Yeah, that bingo,
So,
Harry.
good job. You didn't give
And
up.
that's what we're going to talk about is tracking. Okay. I don't need you to know that number. I need you to be able to look at that spreadsheet. So very good answer was, I have a spreadsheet of all the people I've talked to. So that now what you want to do is start running your system, meaning you need to track it. So I have cold called and talked to, not your number of attempts or dials, right? Those end up in the thousands. But if you talk to 125 people to get this one lead, then right now at this moment in time, you're running at a 1 out of 125 ratio, right? The law of the average says you're probably running at a 1 out of 100, but keep going, right? That's the power. I love that. Who else has some wins in lead generation last week?
Can I real quick? The only thing I'd say, Haley, is I hope to have them instead of saying hope you will have them. Right? So it's that mindset. I'm going to have them. They're going to be part of my
Yes.
program.
Yes, thank you.
I got a win and a fail, I guess.
I love that. A fail is a win because if you learn from your failures, isn't that a win?
Well, I'll start with my fail first. So this kid, he works with me in the nursing field, and I've been telling him I'm in real estate and all this stuff. Well, he's been like slowly kind of picking my brain about the market and everything, telling me he was interested in buying. I told him I'd love to get him under a buyer advisory and, work with him. I'd love to do that. He was asking me all these questions. Well, and then I was like, well, before I further go into more detail, like I'd love, to get in contract that we're working together. And he said he already signed with somebody else. So I was like, okay, well, why are you asking me all these questions? Why don't you ask your realtor that you signed with? And he was like, well, she doesn't seem competent enough. So I kind of therefore was like, well, contracts are always cancelable. You haven't signed anything yet. Well, I mean, he had signed, but like you haven't bought anything with them yet. Like if you don't feel comfortable, like I'd love to assist you. And he kept beating around the bush saying that this realtor was his wife's friend. I don't even know, but he just said she wasn't competent enough. And then he was coming to me for all the answers. So I politely told him that, I'd love to sign with you, but unfortunately, I'm not going to sit here and waste all my time, essentially. So yeah, that was one of them. I mean, he was having me do home searches for him and stuff.
Mhm.
So I couldn't find that like medium area of trying to be polite and respectful, but at the same time, like I'm not going to waste my time when you already signed with somebody. And then I guess one of my wins or some of my wins, I sent out that Jenny Hart thing to like pretty much 50 people in my friend group on Facebook, like people I haven't talked to in a while as well. And they were all like, a lot of them got back to me saying that they weren't interested. And then about 10 of them said that they were interested and they'd love my assistance in finding them a realtor. So that was kind of cool. So hopefully I can get some referrals out of that.
Heck yeah. Great job, Michaela. And to Michaela's point, I know Zoom does not keep chat for people that have just joined us. So here is the script that she's talking about. This was posted by Jenny Hart on our Facebook pages, and this is what script she's talking or she's been using to have that success. Let's pause right there before we continue with Ignite. This is a heck of a topic that needs to be discussed and gone over. All right, there's a delicate balance. All right, let me make sure I start from the 300-foot view and then jump down. Okay, when we have people like this come into our life, and you will have this, if you lead generate enough, you will have people that will come to you and basically want you to help them, even though they're working with another agent. If they're signed with another agent and they're asking you questions, all right, it's a very delicate, you have to be very delicate with what you say and what you answer. And you have to kind of understand fiduciary law. they have a fiduciary on their side. So if they're asking you some questions that are just generic and really don't have anything to do with negotiating on a property and all of those things, you can answer their questions. But as soon as they say, hey, I know I'm working with this other agent, but I really want to know how to make my offer strategic, you can't answer that. Okay. You cannot answer that for them. And so here is my dialogue. Here's my script to kind of help people, because the other caveat that you can't do, and I'm not saying Michaela, you did anything wrong. I haven't seen the dialogue or the text, and I don't really want to, because I don't think you're going to get in trouble. But you guys cannot, it is illegal for us to educate somebody on how to get out of their exclusive right to buy or sell. Let me say that again. It is illegal, meaning like, it's not just your license that will be stripped from you. There could be legal action set against you because of the financial obligation in that contract of commissions. Okay, meaning if you educate somebody how to get out of their deal, that other agent can start to go after you for commissions. So it's a
Just
scary
side
thing.
note, I did not do that, by the way. I just told him I didn't feel comfortable because he was already signed with somebody else.
Yep, no, and that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you hadn't done anything wrong. I just want to make sure we all know you cannot educate somebody on how. So if somebody says, hey, Bruce, I really want out of this contract. I really want to work with you, or I just want out of this contract. What you want to politely do is say, hey, look, as far as how to, I'm not able to. All right. It's against our license law. And I'm not going to put my license in jeopardy to explain how. Here's what I can tell you, though. I can tell you that you have a right to have an attorney review that thing. If there is something you absolutely need to get out, you have an option to call an attorney and go through this situation with them. And then they will help figure that out. Or you can wait till this thing expires and then you can come work with me. That's about all I can tell you. And I'm sorry, there's more that I want to say, but I can't. Most people aren't going to go hire an attorney, but most people will start to just take you up on reading their contract. And if they really read it, they can easily get out of it. But you can't say if you read it, you'll figure out how to get out of it. You just say, I want you to read your contract, or you can call an attorney, or you can wait till it expires.
Can you tell them to be like, ask their agent? Can you ask your agent that question or no?
I don't ever do that. No, I mean, you could. It's such a delicate balance because you can get sued for that one for sure. But again, I always go back to, hey, look, I really want to answer these questions for you. And by answering these, I'm stepping on toes. And you see, the fact of the matter is you signed with that other agent, and it's just, I'm in a pickle, and I know that you're in a pickle. And so here's your 3 options. Make sense? It's a tough one.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody have questions on that? You're going to run into this. Okay. Now, for the sake of understanding, not for the sake of you doing this, I also want you guys to have this conversation over the phone, just in case you muck up something in writing and accidentally say something that you didn't mean that actually can get you in trouble. So make sure that if you are having these conversations, they're not through text or email. So if somebody texts me and says, hey, Bruce, teach me how to get out of this contract, I'm just picking up the phone to give them a call. Cool. All right, let's start off with the Gary Keller quote. You love the people, but at the same time, you haven't yet learned to love hunting for them. All right, so a couple of books for the book readers out there. I'm an Audible guy myself. There's a great book called Jeb Blount, Fanatical Prospecting. All right, this book is a great kick in the teeth. It really starts to, there's a lot of different books out there. Anyways, Jeb Blount is probably one of the best known authors out there that I know of that has some different books. This is just the website, but here's the book I'm talking about, Fanatical Prospecting. Great book, really helped me understand different things, understanding the methodology behind Fanatically prospecting, understanding that it is a game you have to play. Are you willing to play it? Are you willing to make the game be a game? Lead generation's a game. If you like games, you can make lead generation fun. And through fanatical prospecting, you'll figure out how to sell to people without having to sell to them. And it's through repetition. Anyways, a fantastic book, Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt. Speaking of making it a game too, a lot of us don't like hearing no. We've gone through our entire life not liking hearing no. Since the day you were born, you heard no. And since the day you were born, no had a negative context to it. My daughter's name is Allie, so whenever I do this, I talk about Allie. Allie, don't touch that. Allie, no, 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 no. Right? Those are parents' ways of instantaneously trying to save a child from some sort of safety issue, right? Allie, stay away from the stove. Don't touch that, right? So we grew up hearing no in a way in which causes us to go. And so when we're prospecting, we hear no. We hear no a lot. And throughout our life, we've been ingrained. Hearing no causes us to not care for it. So another book is Go for No. Yes is the destination, right? Go for No. Yes is the destination. Fantastic book right here. It teaches you how to embrace no. It teaches you how to change your mindset around no. I want no's. For every no I get to go to a yes. I know some agents that don't tally their contacts or tally their leads. They tally their no's. I got another no. Yes, I'm one step closer to a yes. Another no. Yes. Another no. Yes. This will teach you kind of how to embrace that. So going back to Gary Keller's quote, those are two books that will help you learn how to love hunting for people, hunting for the database people, understanding that leads are a byproduct of growing your database. Okay, it's a mindset shift you have to have. Speaking of mindset, before we go into systems, I also want to share a graphic with you guys. And this graphic is in our productivity coaching our productivity coaching page. So if anybody is not a member of this page right now, put it in the chat box. I'll get you in here right now and invite you. But in the media file, you're gonna scroll down pretty well. It's pretty well buried right now. Oh, nope, here it is. This is a graphic. If you guys have been in my office in Firestone, I have this on my office wall here, as well as at my house. I've had this in my wall for a ton of my career, because this is what helps me when I'm lead generating, when I need to get out of my mind. All right, let's go through that. Liz, okay, let me add you to the Facebook page real quick. Liz, are we friends on Facebook? Yeah, I think so. Oh, you're already a member, Liz. Hey, it's okay. Sometimes you just haven't seen the feed. Last week we did an Ignite session about Facebook and the feeds. So what you want to do, Liz, is maybe search it on purpose, KW NoCo Empire Productivity Coaching. And then when you get in there, just like one of the last posts or whatever, and then you'll start to see it. It's not necessarily a completely heavily used Facebook page. A lot of it's where we post Coach on Call, some of the resources that I just don't think the rest of the Empire needs. I like for you guys to promote your marketing and all of those things. So if we have new marketing, maybe new buyer's presentation, new seller's presentation, you name it, you guys can post open houses here. I love to see the marketing, so that way all of you guys can start to see what you guys might want to think about doing. Teresa. I don't even know if we're fine. Oh, Teresa, it looks like you have your Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm sharing your Facebook page with everybody. It looks like you have your Facebook page to where I cannot add you. So that's probably why. Go ahead and add me, Bruce Carley. I think I have Bruce A. Carley out there as well as Bruce. Yeah, I think I'm under Bruce A. Carley right now. Add Bruce A. Carley. That's the one I primarily use. And then I'll get you in there for sure. I don't see it, but okay, I'll do that later. No problem. All right, going back, media. All right. Perfect. Or I can't remember how they pronounce that. PTFAR. All right. We need to really understand this. And like I said, I have this in my office because I'm a human too. I forget how the psychological nature of our minds work, as well as the psychological nature of our friends and family works. All right. Every single person in this world, doesn't matter, pick a topic, I don't care. We've all been pre-programmed or programmed in our past around some sort of subject, okay? I'm not gonna get into an argument here, but I wanna bring up just a very simple thing. You have people who are very gun friendly, and then you have people who are very anti-gun. All right, I don't care what your reason is. That's not what I'm bringing this up for. I'm saying that most likely you are pro-gun because you probably grew up with it and it was a thing in your world. Maybe your family had guns. Maybe your friends had guns. Maybe you used to shoot guns. Maybe you were introduced to them at an earlier age. As well as some people have never grown up with guns, right? Yeah, Melanie, go crush your contract. That's awesome. That's awesome, awesome. And yes, please reach out to Claudia. She's our contracts as well as buyers and sellers presentation guru now. So she'll help you out with that. So go crush it, Melanie. Thanks for joining us, and it's all recorded.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. You're welcome. So your pre-programming, all right, has you believing things in your world, and your beliefs are what you're going to believe in and hold true to. And I'm not taking away from that, but understand that everybody was pre-programmed. You didn't come out of the womb being an anti-gun or pro-gun lover. That was programming over time, right? Then that programming causes us to have thoughts around it. Those thoughts come from our parents, our things, right? So here's an example that I'll run through. So now that you got the idea of programming, here's what my pre-programming has been. So I had an issue when I was lead generating. I still have this issue to this day, okay? I was pre-programmed not to lead generate during the evenings, okay? And here's how wild this is. And I never even understood it until I kind of went through this exercise with my coach. I was pre-programmed to not want to lead generate during the evenings. And here's why. When I was a kid, my parents worked as postal carriers. They were working anywhere from 8 to 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And so when my parents got home, it was very important to them to have family time and eat dinner as a family all around a kitchen table. Back then, there were no cell phones. And no electronics, so it was kind of easier to gather us, but no TV, no nothing. Mom and dad got home and we had dinner as a family, and we cleaned up the kitchen as a family every single night, like clockwork, unless something crazy special was going on. And that mainly was because my parents worked so much and worked 6 days a week that they could never come to our us kids sporting events. So after school sporting events were still when they were working, and so this was very important to my family. And I'll never forget, every time that the phone rang during dinner, sometimes my parents wouldn't have any grief about it or anything like that. But every now and then my dad would just slam his fist on the counter. Not super aggressive, just, gosh, another call. We just sat down to dinner. Seems like it always happens. And I'll just never forget my dad answering the phone, because this was before caller ID too. So you couldn't screen phone calls. This was like before caller ID. Yeah, hello. And then every now and then you would hear his voice kind of pick up because it would be a friend or somebody that he needed to talk to. But if it wasn't somebody that he wanted to talk to, he'd slam the phone down, go back to the table and say, gosh, these telemarketers, they can't, I mean, gosh, why do they always got to call us right now? In reality, there's no other time to call my parents. They were always at work without cell phones. Like the telemarketers, that was the only time they could get. They just so happened to be hitting my parents. But anyways, as a kid growing up, I'm pre-programmed to think, you don't interrupt people's family time. That's a big thing in the evening. You don't do that. And so my thoughts are, if I lead generate during the evenings, I'm going to get aggressive no's. And I already don't like no's. I'm a shy kid from Ohio. I don't like sales. I don't like no's. I'm not going to lead generate during the evenings because that's when people are home with their family and are not focused on taking away from their family time. And I felt, or I thought that if I did that, I was going to stir up and create feelings. I was going to make people angry and frustrated. So what do I do is, these feelings cause me to take action in a different way. Throughout my lead generation career, I have never really ever got on the train of door knocking on the weekends and in the evenings. The results of that were I needed to swallow and understand that if I lead generate during the morning, I'm going to have less people to answer the phone. So I'm going to need to make more dials in order to talk to the same amount of people that I would talk to if I wasn't so afraid of calling in the evening. And so that's the results that I needed to understand. So that way I could use the pre-programming I had to understand what I needed to do to accomplish to get these results. Okay, we all have things in our life that we do that. It looks like Teresa said something. Yeah, when I was a debt collector, I had to work evenings and sometimes and always dreaded it. Sometimes it's just our pre-programming. See, here's what I've learned, and here's why I love being a coach is I've also gone through a journey of trying to rewire my brain. I like the way I grew up. I think my parents did a great job raising me. I think that I'm better off than some of my peers. They also trained me not to compare my insides to other people's outsides. So my parents did a heck of a job pre-programming with a ton of different things in my life that I still love, and I don't want to pre-program myself around. But the fact of the matter is that there are plenty of things that my parents have drilled into me in a subconscious way and in a conscious way. The telemarketing thing was subconscious. I didn't actually realize that I had that issue until about a couple of years into real estate. So I've been really working on pre-programming or reprogramming my brain around some of those things to the point now where I'm programmed to understand both sides of the coin. I'm programmed now to understand that when you call during the evening, my thoughts are there's more people home. I'm going to get more answers. Yes, there's going to be some people that are going to be upset with me, but I'm also going to create a feeling for some that they're relaxed, they're home, they're not at work, they have time to talk to me. Through doing those and understanding that I just need to get out of my own way, have a great demeanor about calling or door knocking or doing whatever in the evenings and weekends, will still create the actions or I'm going to still do those actions because I'm not afraid of it anymore because of the way I'm looking at it. And I know that the results are there because I've seen other real estate agents who call in the evening and absolutely crush it at a high success rate. So anyways, all of this to say, these are the things that make real estate and lead generation fun, is understanding how the brain works, understanding that you need to get through 100 no's to get that one yes. All right, but think about that when you're on the phone with people. One last principle around this, and then we'll drop this and really dive in. Here's what a lot of you guys do, and here's why we always teach. Go 3 questions deep and draw out motivation. There's a major reason why. So if we understand and we have the basic principle that every single one of us on here, as well as every single one of us that every single person that we interact with, they've been pre-programmed in their world around real estate. And they have their own thoughts and beliefs around this. And those thoughts and beliefs become their reality. Is this reality or truth? Those realities are what we have to overcome. The way that you overcome them is not to go through and understand people's pre-programming the thoughts and reality and go straight to action, right? This is how a lot of people do this and a lot of people work. A lot of people will go through and they'll say, yeah, I really want to wait for the market to drop. I don't want to buy right now because I'm just going to wait for the market to drop. Well, having that thought is okay, but we always talk in circles around that without showing them how to change that, how to have a different feeling around that. So I'm going to give you guys a little thing. If you guys go to, and for anybody that has the objection in your world that says, I'm going to wait and time up the market, go to the Fed in St. Louis. Okay. This is the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. The Feds are actually meeting today to raise the Fed rates by 0.75%. Not interest rates, the Fed rates. Jump into this .org. This is kind of how you're going to know that you're on the right page. Okay. And then from there should be, here, I don't actually do it like this. That's just the website. Fed St. Louis appreciation graph. Nope, not there. That's the website I was trying to get to, or the link I was trying to get to. That's, I don't want that one. That is new one family homes sold in the United States. What that one? Here you go. All transactions house price index for the entire United States. All right. So these, as you can see through the history of time, we really have never dropped except for the 2008-2009 crash. And the only reason why was because in the entire history of the economic world, that is the only recession due to the housing market itself. So when people are telling you that we're going through a recession today, we're going through a recession, but it has nothing to do with the housing market. So every single other recession, so in the history since we've been tracking, we've had a 1980 recession, we had a 1982-83 recession, and a 1990 recession, we had a 2001 recession, and then we had the big one. And that big one that everybody talks about, that everybody bases all of their opinions on, is the 2008-2009 recession. That is the only time in history that our housing market has dipped. And if you actually look at this dip, take a look at this. 2004 to 2011, it barely dipped, you guys. What it did was it spiked and then it corrected itself and then it dipped because of predatory lending. We have no predatory lending anymore. We have nothing about the housing market causing any sort of recession. So those people that say I'm waiting for the market to dip, they literally are gambling on a one in 70-year chance. That's a stupid chance. No one would take those odds. So why do all of these people feel like that's what they need to do? The reality is that it just does nothing but go up. So anyways, I use this graph a lot for anybody that I have that has this pre-programming belief that in recessions, our housing market dips. No, we had one recession that did that, and that recession was caused by the housing market. So if we're going to be in a recession that's caused by the housing market, yes, I'm going to condone every buyer out there to wait if they want to. But the fact of the matter is that the people that wait, so many people were like, and I've been doing this since 2014. And in 2014, this is when everything started kind of going back up. 2015, 2016, I always had people, I'm going to wait, 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 I'm going to wait. You're going to wait? What are you waiting for? You just waited 3 years and the average home sales price went from 316 to 320 all the way up to 450. What are you waiting for? You just waited yourself out of $125,000 worth of appreciation in equity. I'm so confused as to what people tell me they're waiting for. Make sense? Questions? All right. So people are programmed to believe that their thoughts is reality, that if we're in a recession, the housing market's going to tank. And that causes them to have a gut feeling, a gut check that says, hey, I don't want to do this because I feel like if I do this, I'm going to lose my butt. I'm going to lose equity in my home. And so the action I'm choosing to take is inaction, right? Not taking action is also an action. And the result is that I'm going to wait until it changes. And in my situation, here's what happened with a lot of my buyers in my world. Their results were that they continued to have to wait. Their results were that they missed out on $125,000 worth of potential equity. In our area, if you bought in 2014 when I first started and you sold with me today, you didn't even just lose $125,000 in average in equity. In our area, you lost $200,000 to $300,000 in equity by waiting for the market to dip again. Everybody see that? So the people in our world will have these pre-programmed beliefs, and we have to understand where their thoughts come from. We have to understand how to change those thoughts, to change their feelings, to make them take action. So I've had plenty of buyers that I show that graph to, and I say, I don't want to discount your reality, because that's your reality and that's your beliefs. But let's take a look at this. Can we look at this with an open mind? I'm kind of curious as to what you really are waiting for and what you really want to accomplish. How long will you be in a house? You see, if you're going to be in a house for more than 3, 4, 5 years, the reality is that even the one time in all of our housing history, this was only, all right, remember I said we went through a correction. That's not a market tipping down. See, the line should have never went like this. The line should have went like this, straight underneath. Follow my mouse, not the line. It should have went underneath this and then continued. This is why everybody is saying we are actually now finally in 2021, we finally got back to our trend graph. Everybody see that? This little hump right here should not be a hump. It should have just kept going like this. So from here to here is when we dipped. So let's look at those years, 2009 to 2012. That's a 3-year mark, you guys. In the entire history of our real estate world, we had a 3-year span that we dipped. So when I'm talking with people and they want to buy a house, if they want to buy a house to only live there for 3 years, then yeah, I'm not going to talk you into this, because morally and ethically, I don't know if our market will dip again. I don't feel like it will. I'm 99.9% confident that our market will not dip right now. But if somebody only wants to buy a house for 1 or 2 or 3 years, I'm probably not going to talk them out of it, right? Because if they only want to buy a house for 1 or 2 or 3 years, what are they waiting on? If they wait a year, then they're not going to buy a house. Like, what are they waiting on? So I'm going to let those people go. But somebody that says, I want to buy a house, and no, Bruce, I plan on being there 5 to 10 years. I guess I don't know, but I don't plan on buying it and selling it in the next couple of years. Then I'm going to say, what are you waiting on? You're missing out on equity opportunity. Let's get going today. And they start to bite, you guys. Does this help? You guys understanding this? This is what makes us really, really, really good agents. This is how we capture more leads. You need to learn how to love hunting for them. I love to talk about that graph with people. I love when people tell me, I want to wait. You have to find that love and that passion in your real estate career. I love first-time home buyers. Do they take up the most amount of time that any other client ever takes up in my world? Yes. Do I love that aspect of it? No. But I love first-time home buyers because first-time home buyers, honestly, are not pre-programmed around the real estate market yet. And so it's my job to make sure I educate them well. Cool. Let's get through this. Your number one job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. Okay. So think about the trajectory. Think about how this all works. Let's go through another mindset shift. The main reason why you have to be calling your database every quarter is because that is the only way to put yourself effectively into someone's path of real estate. Buyers typically give the world a lead time of 3 to 6 months up to a year before they're looking to buy a home because they're excited. So our quarterly calls aren't they're not meant for buyer leads because buyers will tell you 6 months in advance before they're ready to buy a house. Yeah, Jake, dude, I'm so excited that you're a real estate agent now. I'm actually in a lease for the next like 8 months. And after our lease is up, I want to buy a house, right? Buyers get excited about the buying process. So buyer leads are great because they give us massive amounts of lead time, which is why every new agent that gets into this industry, you will most likely find that your first leads are buyer leads over your first leads being seller leads. Most of the time. Some of you guys are anomalies. But that's because buyers just come out of the woodwork and say, I want to do this. Seller leads, the average from the NAR statistics say that seller leads don't start raising their hand or voicing their move for about 1 to 3 months before they actually need to move. Well, if a quarter is 3 months, that's the absolute reason why we have to be hitting our database every quarter, because you're going to miss out on listing leads and listing opportunities. So the number one job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers is to constantly contact them to get into their path for when they actually do raise their hand. Okay. All right, the 2 M's of lead generation. Let's just go through them. I think you guys will understand them. We won't hit this too hard. Your message. You guys need to know the market. Need to know the market. You have to know the market. No matter what prospecting system you're doing, you need to understand what your message is going to be and what the market looks like. You need to understand how to talk about the market, how to do research through it, right? Make an offer. This isn't like making an offer with a buyer lead that you're like making an offer on a house, okay? Make an offer meaning offer to help. Offer to help. What is that? How can you help people, right? So here's my example with that graph that we just looked at here. I need to know my market. I need to know that the real estate market averages an appreciation rate of 4% year over year. The average actually says 3 to 5%, but I like to use simple numbers and it's 4%. I know that it does. I also know that the housing market has only ever dipped for 3 years in the 70-year history of the housing market. My offer to my client is to offer to them to show them that graph. I need to make an offer, whether direct or indirect, right? So direct would be, hey, Jake, I appreciate you letting me know that you're looking to wait for the market. I'd like to show you something. When's a good time that we can sit down and I can show you kind of the 70-year history of our market to kind of help you understand what you're waiting for. It's a direct offer. Jake, hey, I can really appreciate that. Here's what I kind of wishing that you would be open to. Jake, I wish that you'd be open to maybe taking a look at some things that I'm going to send you and let me know what your thoughts are. right? That's an indirect offer. I'm offering some information, but I'm not going to show it to you. Okay. So when you lead generate, you have to have a message. That's why I always tell you guys, I don't believe the best way to go door knocking or cold calling is to just introduce yourself as a local area real estate expert to see if people have any needs. I don't believe there's anything to offer. I think you're offering their services, and that's fantastic. But if everybody and their mother knows at least 6 agents in their circle of friends, family, and influence, they're not just going to use you out of the blue. You got to give them conviction and a reason, right? So instead of just offering your services as a local area real estate expert, it's I'm a local area real estate expert, and today I wanted to talk to you about this house down the street that just sold, for this, was on the market for this, and I know that people in your neighborhood, i.e. your market, would like to know what's going on. Do you have any questions for me about the equity in your home, how much your home is worth? Make an offer to complement why you're there talking about that single house, okay? Depending upon what market you want to do, right? If we're talking about door knocking around a home that was just sold, my target audience is obviously the neighborhood. I'm talking about what sold and the market conditions and all of that to be able to make an offer, whether direct or indirect. Hey, let me do a comparative market analysis for you, so that way you know exactly how much equity you have in your home. So if you ever think about buying an investment property and pulling money out of your home, you'll know what you can or cannot do. An indirect offer would be, hey, it was great chatting with you. If you ever have any real estate needs or questions, just, please let me know. I'm happy to help. Are you guys seeing that? Okay. 2, you need to know your methods. You got to have a method to the madness. We talked about this in scripts. You can't take a bunch of methods, right? I can't just take cold calling, door knocking, open houses, sphere of influence, put it in my hand, throw it on a wall, and hope it all sticks. I got to have a method to every single one of my lead generation systems. And the reason why we always condone only having 1 or 2, possibly 3 lead generation methods is because you're not capable of creating and sticking to systems around more than 3 lead generation methods. None of you guys have the time to do that. 8 years into this industry, I can't fathom how some of you guys feel like you're going to have 8 different lead generation methods that you're going to work on, because you're just basically going to throw stuff at a wall hoping something sticks. So let's talk about a method around open houses. Open houses, all right? If open houses is my lead generation method that I'm going to use in this example, I need to figure out how I'm going to prospect at a high level. If I'm going to just do open houses and I'm just going to set signs in the yard on Saturday and hope that somebody comes to my open house for 2 hours, then I'm only lead generating for 2 hours through this method. So that means I need another method, right? That doesn't seem like a very good system. That is me just throwing up an open house sign, hoping somebody comes into my lap and buys a house with me. It will work if you do it over and over and over and over and over again, but it's going to take a long time. So if I choose open houses, I need to understand that I probably need to have a system around door knocking, cold calling, creating a spectacle, advertising my open house to my database on social media, advertising my open house to my sphere of influence through email or text. I need to prepare for that. I need to draw out that plan to prospect around my open house, right? The market, right? I need to know the market. I need to know where I'm doing an open house at. I need to know what the average sales price is. I need to know what the average listed sales price is. I need to know what I'm doing at this open house so I can talk about it. So when I'm prospecting in a systemized way that I've prepared and I'm now taking action on, I need to know how to talk. I need to know that. Maintain, that's the follow-up systems. That's the things that we'll talk about here in a little bit. Questions at all? You have to develop your message, and you have to develop a method and a system around what you're doing. Who wants to go through an example? Anybody want to go through this? Anybody struggling with their lead generation method and message that they want to use as an example that we can go through? Okay.
I mean, I was doing open house stuff yesterday. I was door knocking. I was more focused on getting the whole keeping conversations with people. So I think I knocked on, it's only 11 or 12 doors, had 10 conversations. So it took me about an hour. And then I had to go do some other stuff, but all good conversations. A lot of old people. I got invited into one house, joked about selling his girlfriend's place. So instead of her trying to sell his, so that you never know, but just conversations with people. So it went well.
Perfect. It went well because you had a message, right? Your message was what?
I was
you're
just
going to be doing
letting
an
them know
open
about the
house.
open house, might be a little more traffic in the area. And then I just asked them how long they lived there. If they might have any friends or family that might be interested in moving to the area. That pretty much took up most of it.
Perfect. So it sounds like you knew what your message was. Your message was that you had an open house. You obviously knew something about the market because you knew what area to door knock, and you were talking about that. Your target audience was the neighborhood, and you obviously looked up some market conditions to be able to talk to people about the open house and the market. You made an offer to talk to them about real estate, an offer to talk to them about how long they lived in the neighborhood. I would call it an indirect offer, right? Unless you were directly asking for contact information, you were directly asking for all of that. So sometimes you guys were lead generating in one house. I'm going to do an indirect offer. At another house, I'm going to be very direct with that person. That kind of changes door to door, call to call, person to person. Then his method was the open house. He's prospecting, door knocking. And like I said, he knows the market. Got to know your market, got to watch it. He prepared, right? He knew where he was going to go door knock. He knew what he was going to say. He went out and did it. Now the question, the reason why I wanted an example was I want to ask Jake, how is he going to maintain this lead generation method?
I'm doing it again today. I'm trying to do it every day. I'm going to do it every day. And you're talking about your ratio 1 to 17. So now I've been trying to make a game out of it and trying to count down the no's, because it's like, okay, I can just get through, count them down. I'll get to a yes. Then I'll get to my appointments, and I've been counting those down. So it's I'm trying to make a game out of it at this point.
Right on.
And who wants to buy my house that I'm going to buy? So someone's going to.
Perfect. Well, and I'm definitely not telling you that you can't do this, but I'm going to clarify for everybody that's at team meeting yesterday. 1 out of 17 was 1 out of 17 leads through my sphere of influence in my database. Cold calling, door knocking, open houses. The best I think I ever got was about 1 out of 30. So beat me. You guys, I was a terrible cold lead generation guy. Terrible. But I started getting really good, and I finally got down to 1 out of 30. I was terrible. I took no for an answer so many times, door knocking and cold calling. So beat it, Jake. I want you to beat 1 out of 30. Track yourself, right? Awesome.
Sounds good.
Leads, you guys, are everywhere. All right, let's talk about being a silent agent. I don't know if anybody on here, somebody just told me about them not being a silent agent. They wore their name tag into like a grocery store or something and got a lead talking to somebody. But anyways, you guys, when you guys are in a restaurant, you guys this happens to me, gosh, at least 50% of the time that I go out for a coffee, a beverage, or some sort of lunch or dinner. Every time I walk by or I overhear another table talking about real estate, talking about how they're in the process of buying a home, talking about the market, talking about how they're in the process of getting their home ready because they want to sell it in a year from now, talking about their agent and their lender, talking about blah, blah, the news, the media, whatever. It always happens. You cannot be afraid to go up to that table and shamelessly ask them for business or to see if you can help them with their conversation. The worst thing that has ever happened to me by doing that was not even a bad glare. I just got the, hey, actually, that's funny. This is actually my agent. That's the worst thing that's ever happened to me when I approached somebody else's table. And all I said was, that's awesome. I'm Bruce. I'm with Keller Williams. And I think it's awesome that you are taking your clients out. I don't think enough agents have conversations with people that they're going to do business with. And I looked right at the person at the table and I said, you're working with a rock star agent that's willing to take time to set out time out of their day to talk with you about this. I'm going to let you guys be and have a great night. That's the worst that has ever happened to me by approaching somebody in a grocery store who I heard talking about it, who's in mid-bite of their dinner talking about real estate. I don't care. Just go up to them. Hey, what's going on? My name is Bruce, and I apologize. I could not help but hear you guys are talking about real estate. Here's my card. I know you're in the middle of dinner, but I'm in the business of helping people answer questions about the real estate world. If you guys have any for me, lay it on me. And I just kind of pause for a couple of seconds. If they don't say anything or they just say, oh, thanks, really appreciate that. Yeah, we'll let you know. Great. I'm not a secret agent. I at least asked for the business or at least asked to help them. And I'm going from there. If they're in the middle of dinner, most likely I'm going to wait until I see them getting up, and I'm probably going to go use the restroom around that time, bump into them again and go, hey, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed dinner. Do you guys think of any questions for me? Ask for that damn connection or ask for that business, right? My God, they were talking about real estate. Who cares if they're a no? They're leaving the restaurant. That's not awkward. Quit being secret agents. Quit being secret agents.
I went up to a moving truck yesterday and started talking to them.
Awesome. Dude, do that. At Home Depot, man, Home Depot has given me some of the best leads ever known to man.
Yeah, I talked to an auto parts store yesterday too. They're thinking about maybe expanding. So yeah. But yeah, I'm just talking to everyone at this point.
Absolutely.
Papa needs to make some money.
Yeah, good. That's not being a secret agent. It's not hard, man. Did you get shunned? I don't see a black eye or anything. Quit being afraid.
No, actually, the moving truck I went up to, they're moving to Tennessee, but they know someone from they're a vet, so that worked out for me. They loved me, but they might know someone from Tennessee moving to Colorado. So, and I got their contact information and everything.
Heck yeah. I have sold to people, random people looking at flooring, tile, landscape gardening, every department you can name in Home Depot. I've also sold to 2 bank tellers. I've sold to 2 used car salesmen, just because I simply asked. If I'm at a place of business, I'm going to ask them for business as well. That's my mantra. I'm not going to buy a car off you. I'm not going to not buy a car off you just because you don't have a real estate need for me. But if I'm there talking to you about a used car that I want to buy, you bet your butt I'm asking you about real estate. Questions about being a secret agent. Ask your dentist, ask your chiropractor. If you give them business, they need to be acceptable for you to ask for business. I'm working on my dentist right now. I think my dentist is amazing. My dentist is awesome. And I give them a 5-star review on Google pretty much every time Google allows me to, and that's about every 6 months. The last time that I did, I actually thought, wait a second. I asked my hygienist for a real estate lead, but I didn't ask the doctor. So I emailed the doctor and I said, you guys are fantastic. And I think I need to go above and beyond just giving you a 5-star review on Google. The fact of the matter is that I'm in the world of referrals too. And I've got you as my welcome to Longmont package for anybody that moves from out of the area as my preferred dentist. Are you taking on new clients at this time? Are you ever not taking on new clients? Let me know so that way I know if I'm pushing people to the right place, because I want to provide world-class service for my clients in my real estate world, just like you do to me in your dentist practice. I'd hate to give somebody your information if you're not taking new clients. He sent me an email back and he's like, I've been doing this for umpteen years. I don't know, 30 something. I've been doing this for so many years and not one time have I ever received an email like that. Thank you so much. And just to let you know, my son, who just joined my practice 4 years ago, is getting sick of the commute from Westminster to Longmont. I can't tell you that he's going to be looking to buy a home in the future, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be looking to buy a home in the future. That's all he said. And all I had to do is Google the son's name and his contact information. It's online because he's a dentist. So I'm working an angle, right? Guys can't be secret. Leads are everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Ahas. Anything anybody wants to talk about, topics we've gone over? What has been the most profound thing you've heard so far this morning? I just need one thing before we go on, and I'll sit here all day if you don't.
I think having tangible proof of the market as opposed to just talking really benefits the conversation. So when you showed me the graph and how to get there, I felt like that was really helpful.
Awesome. Thank Helena, right? Is that her?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for saying that. You guys, I use analogies with you all the time. I talk about kids. I talk about Boy Scouts. I talk about riding a bike. I talk about, what are some other analogies I give you guys? I talk about, I don't know. Bruce has a lot of analogies. The other thing that I share with you guys is all my stories. I just told you guys about my dentist. So that way you guys can, it's not for me to brag that I got a lead from my dentist or I'm working on it. It's for you guys to basically hear the dialogue. I went above and beyond a Google review and I emailed my dentist directly. If you guys want to do this at a tenacious level, think about it. Who's your eye doctor, your general practitioner, your chiropractor, your car mechanic, your oil change place? Heck, I go to,
Sorry. I was just gonna say that's going along the lines of being more purposeful, which I'm like really trying to nail down because it is hard and I guess awkward at sometimes, but only if you make it that way.
It's only awkward because you're going through this. You're working on reprogramming your brain. I love that, Hallie. That's what I was looking for with one aha. The aha that I'm hoping you guys had is you guys got into this industry with a base level, a base knowledge, right? And we call that entrepreneurial. We're all at a base level of being entrepreneur. Now, Ignite teaches you how to get purposeful, how to really dive into this career. Awesome. All right, prospecting versus marketing. Prospecting versus marketing. Lead generation is a contact sport with simple rules. It means making contact with people through prospecting and marketing. Contact sport, right? That's why if you're not it's like we think of contact sport as like beating up somebody in football. No, contact meaning more contacts, more results. That's how simple it is. More contacts, more results. But you can do massive amounts of contacts through prospecting and marketing. All right. I'm a big proponent of not spending money on marketing unless you can prove to me there's a 3x return. So I have voiced my opinion, and Jenny Hart knows this. Mark Solomon knows this. I have been anti sending out the golden letters in mailer form. I have been anti that. And I've been very vocal about that because I don't believe that doing that gives you a 3x return on your investment. In my career, and when I look at people who send out mailers, the average mailer to get a piece of business will cost you around $2,000 to $3,000. So if an average mailer costs me around $2,000 to $3,000, then I'm going to have, if I spend $3,000, then I need to 3x my return. So a lot of people say, well, Bruce, that would 3x your return. If you got a $10,000 commission check from doing that, then $3,000 is 3 times 3 is 9 grand. You tripled it. No. You see, I spent $3,000 on marketing, and now that $10,000 check, if I run on the budget model, and the budget model says for every commission check I get, I need to set aside 30% for marketing. Well, if I do that commission check and I've already spent the 30% on marketing, now I'm over 30%. Now my budget is out of balance. You see how that works? If I have a $10,000 commission check, I'm gonna allocate $3,300 towards marketing. Well, it's already spent. So now I actually have no money to market my brand new lead. So I'm not a big proponent of it. The other reason why I'm not a big proponent of it is because it's just like any other lead generation system. You can talk to, so if you're cold calling, the average is 1 out of 100. If you're cold calling and you talk to 300 people, you may not get a lead. But then the next batch of, let's say, 300 to 400 people, you get those 4 leads. Well, if you send out 3 mailers, let's say you send out a batch of mailers and you spend 2 grand on it, you might need to spend another 2 grand on another batch of mailers. And then you might need to spend another 2 grand on another batch of mailers. But let me ask you, I don't know many people in here that have the stomach or the tolerance or the bank account to send out $6,000 worth of mailers to hopefully receive 3 pieces of business. A lot of us don't have the stones to do that consistently. So my big thing is door knock around those things. Okay. Marketing versus prospecting. All right, let's talk about this. On average, everybody tends to move every 7 to 10 years. Yes, you will have those people that stay in their home for 35 plus years, but you also have to think about the flip side. Some people move almost every other year for their job. Some people just have trying times in their life where they I mean, you name it, you can have some things. Divorce, it's going to cause me to move 3 times in about 3 years. Newlyweds, some people will buy a house, connect with a significant other, marry that significant other, sell their 2 houses, and then buy one together. That's triple moves in less than 7 years sometimes. So anyways, the average is 7 to 10 years. This graph right here goes up and it says likelihood to move, not likely to move, and this is your timeline, right? Everybody knows how to read a graph. What I like to also think about when I look at these curves, I don't think of the likelihood to move. I also think about how their brain starts thinking about real estate. When somebody does not have any ambition of moving, there's nothing that's causing them to move, they're not thinking about real estate. Those are your database members that constantly tell you no. It's not on their mind. But the people in your database that maybe have been in their home for maybe 4, 5, 6, 8 years, they're at a heightened sense of awareness. Something in life is probably causing them to think it through a little further. And so they're going to start to think about it. Now, here's the key. We need to talk to our database as we go. And I wasn't going to go back to a slide, but thinking about marketing versus prospecting. The people that are going through this transition are all the way down here. Prospecting through them is not necessarily the best fruit. Meaning you still need to prospect through your database and the people that have already bought their home and the idea has fizzled, right? So if somebody buys a home and they're in it for the first year, they're still thinking about real estate, right? If they make a move and they're a year into their house, they're still way up here at the heightened sense of awareness. They're adjusting to their home. They're making renovations. They're changing carpet. They're painting walls. They're doing landscaping. 1 year has not gotten, they've only been through their seasons 1 time. So they're still at a heightened sense of awareness, meaning when you prospect and you talk to that database member, they're the ones who are most likely to give you leads. As that person stays in their home and they've done all the painting, they've renovated everything, they're doing their landscaping. Now they've been there for maybe 2, maybe 3 years. Now they're settled, they're in, they're not thinking about all of these home renovations. They're not thinking about how tough it was to buy a house in a hot seller's market in Denver. So now when you prospect through them, right, I'm talking about your quarterly calls, those people are starting to not think about real estate so much anymore. And so that's why you have to do a combination of marketing and prospecting to your database. Because by prospecting through, they're just going to always tell you no. But if you keep marketing and putting marketing pieces in front of them, mailers, emails, social media posts, that sort of thing, it can help keep them alive and in your database. So the next time they think about moving, they think about calling you because you've connected with them in the last 7 to 10 years or whatever their time frame was. All right. So when you're doing this, and I'm very much specifically talking about our sphere of influence. So the people we know, love, and trust, you have to prospect and market to them. Has to be done. If you're being passive, okay, most agents like to be passive because passive causes us to stay in our comfort zone. So most agents never, ever, ever resist marketing to their database. They're cool with sending them a mailer, an email, a direct message on social media, a Facebook post. We're all cool with that because it keeps us in our comfort zone. What us coaches really harp on you guys about or help you with, or however you want to look at it, is prospecting to your database. You have to pick up that phone and call. If you're doing 4 quarterly calls a year, quit overcomplicating it. I don't know what to say. No, you need to think of 4 reasons to interact and connect with your database throughout the year. Let me give you some very easy ones, okay? In January, February, and March, right, quarter number 1, I commonly will talk to my database or my sphere of influence about what the market did last year. Then in quarter 2, I'm probably going to find something that has happened in quarter 1 that I can talk about. So for this year, I talked to everybody in my database about how they need to talk to their insurance company because everybody in the Marshall fires, about 80% of everybody in the Marshall fires, so those those grass fires that burn up all those subdivisions, 80% of homeowners in there were underinsured, meaning they're not going to be able to rebuild their house. So I called my entire database and said, hey, do you know that 80% of all people in those fires were underinsured? Because our equity has been rising and appreciation has been going on, you are probably underinsured. Your insurance company has you set for an approval for probably based upon what you bought the home for. But now the equity has shot up, you may need to revisit that. And I'd hate for you to be in my call list or my circle of friends who doesn't take the time to call their insurance company and you guys have a freak accident happen and you're underinsured. Can you do that for me? And everybody said, oh my gosh, Bruce, yes. I had no idea. Or some of them said, oh, dude, I'm already on it. I already readjusted it. Yeah, I'm so glad you're talking to people about that because I was so surprised that my insurance agent did not kind of recognize that. I was basically being insured for a rebuild of $450,000 and my house is now worth $650,000. I'm so glad you're doing this and I'm so glad I did that. So every quarter that you only need 4 reasons a year to call your database. That's it. Every year in the fourth quarter, I just talk about the holidays. So first quarter market, last quarter holidays. Second and third quarter, I just talk about something that has happened in the world. So talking about marketing, talking about prospecting. Right now, let's mastermind. We just started quarter 3, like just right now, July. So we need a reason to talk to our people for third quarter. What are some easy conversations you guys can do in which doesn't even really have to have real estate involved? I mean, maybe, but it doesn't have to. What do you guys think? Let's develop this for everybody on here. Let's give you a tangible reason to call your database.
Any plans for the rest of summer or end of summer?
Perfect. There you go. Hey, Jake, it's Bruce. Hey, Summer's running out, and I've been so busy with my real estate business. I want to take some time. What are you and your family doing that's fun and exciting the rest of the summer to give me some ideas? I'm not inviting myself to tag along with you camping or anything like that, Jake, but like, what are you guys doing?
Absolutely
That's it.
nothing.
That's it. Like, that's it. That's a great reason to call your database. Let's think of another. Right? Because going back to like this, I'm not saying like it's an offer. That's an indirect touching base, right? Very generic, very indirect. What's a direct thing that we can think about when we talk to our database? Think of something like the insurance that I just brought up.
Is your AC holding up?
Who just said that? Was that Jasmine? Yeah, buddy. I love that one. Hey, what's going on? It's Bruce. Hey, I'm calling everybody today because as the summer has been getting very, very hot, right? We're in the dead heat of the summer right now. July and August are going to cause our air conditioning units to consistently burn and be utilized. When's the last time that you had your HVAC system checked and serviced? Because the last thing that I want anything to happen to any one of my people is if you guys run out of coolant, you might burn up that motor versus somebody just going out there to do a fresh recharge. I love that, Jasmine. If you guys think of any others, put it in the chat. Let's keep going. Great job. Prospecting versus marketing. All right, I love this slide. This slide is such a cool, simple visual to wrap your minds around this. This goes to exactly why I said what I said about sending out mailers. This hits exactly home on why I can't stand hearing about agents wasting their time, money, and effort on mailing golden letters. If you did, great, and if you got results, great. But there are a lot of people out there that spent money on those mailers and didn't get those results. And it's literally statistically proven. If you want to market, it's passive. You didn't have to call those people you sent mailers to. You just put a stamp on stuff, you put your message out, and you sent it. But it's money intensive. And the other thing is a lot of people wanted to send those mailers out and get instant results. Marketing is a long-term play, you guys. When McDonald's started in whatever state, whenever they started, 1970 or whatever it was it 1950 or 70? I can't remember. But whenever McDonald's started and they were starting to gain attraction, all right, people on the East Coast had no clue what the golden arches are. Through going through their time of marketing and never changing, they've changed the golden arch a few times, but it's always been the golden arch. It's become a long-term play. When I'm driving down the highway and I'm on a road trip and I want to stop somewhere, I want to stop somewhere that I know is consistent. So I'm looking for the Wendy's, the Burger Kings, the golden arches of the world because I think it's consistent. But if I see some random fast food joint sign up by McDonald's, Wendy's, and if I'm not from that area and I've never experienced that fast food, but I'm hungry and I need to get back on the road, I'm probably not going to take a chance. I'm just saying. So marketing is a long-term play, you guys. It takes a while for people to understand who you are. So that's why you have to be doing it. And we at Keller Williams teach you guys how to market in a non-money intensive way. You have a CRM called Command who will send out automated emails for you guys. But if you're only sending out emails to your database and your sphere, and you're only texting them, and you're only adding them on Facebook, and you're only making Facebook posts, you need to understand it's a long-term, you need to understand it's a long-term play. So quit trying to think that by sending out 400 mailers, 400 emails, 50 Facebook posts a week, that you're gonna get instant success. If you're doing that, that's okay. Completely cool with how you want to run your business. But I'm not cool with you stressing yourself out over not getting immediate business. All right. Hallie Bandy has a new listing and she's been prospecting around. Okay, so sorry, jumping into prospecting. She's been prospecting around it. All right. She had a choice for her new listing to send out mailers, to make phone calls, to door knock, or to just start putting it on social media. She chose to prospect. And because she chose to prospect, she got an immediate result. It might not have felt immediate to her because she's new and she just started prospecting through cold calling and door knocking. A lot of times we think that we've door knocked and cold called for a couple of weeks and we're not seeing immediate results. That's way too short of a time span. 2 weeks is an immediate result. She called and got a buyer lead yesterday who's working on getting a pre-approval with our in-house lender Grant. Like, what? That's immediate because she picked up the phone and started prospecting. That person was not going to call her on a mailer to tell her that they were going to be buying a house. Now, they may have called her on a mailer if she sent out 4 mailers over the course of 4 weeks or 4 months, but that's a long-term play. And there's probably a chance that she doesn't even get that call. Prospecting also kind of stinks. The reason why we all love marketing is because it's passive, right? The reason why most of us love open houses is not because we like to work on Saturdays. It's because open houses is the only lead generation time, I'm not saying method, but time, that people walk into our open house in a passive way. We don't have to lead generate for them. They just walk into us, and that's a passive way. Okay. Prospecting is proactive. That's why when you do an open house, that's fine if you want to put up signs in the yard, and that's fine if you just want to wait for people to come into your house. But the agents that are out there door knocking around open houses are the agents doing CMAs for their neighbors, are the agents having listing conversations, are the agents that are getting nephews from basements out of basements and into homes. All right. Here's the other crappy part about it. It's not just proactive, it's time intensive. Jake knocked on 11 doors yesterday, had 10 conversations in 1 hour. Now, I will tell you that is still time intensive, but the reality is that is the exact mark Jake wants to sustain. Jake, I don't want you to push yourself into thinking that you want 15. Now that you've done 10 contacts in 1 hour, now I need to go to 15. You can do that for a while, but you wear yourself out. Constantly focus on 10 contacts in an hour, and you'll have a longevity in this industry. Okay, but it's time intensive, right? It takes time to dial hundreds and thousands of phone numbers to talk to 10 to 20% of all of the dials, right? Out of 100 people I dial, I can only really expect to talk to about 10 people. So it's time intensive. You guys all have these slides. I'm not going to read these verbatim. Just look at it. There's so many ways to prospect. I think we sometimes get wrapped up into, well, the coaches are telling me I got to contact more people. I just don't know who to contact. The reason why, sometimes you will see us get a little, it's because what you're actually saying is, I know who to contact. I just don't know how to set aside the time to do it. We all know how to get more contacts in. We just know it's going to be time intensive and that we got to take the proactive nature to do it. We all know we can door knock. We all know we can cold call. We all know about all of these things. And if you don't, great. I'm glad you're on Ignite. Right. But even if you're on Ignite, even if you just joined us, I'm going to pick on Helena. She just joined us. She's heard a lot of this stuff. She's been ingrained with our market center. She's been going to trainings and I commend her for that. So there are plenty of things on here she probably hasn't seen, but at the same token, we all know how to go make more contacts. We're all just wanting strategic ways or ways to reinvent the wheel. These are the proven systems for sure. Marketing. All right. Again, I don't condone a lot of paid for print marketing, blah, 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 blah. But here's some different ways that you can do it. Again, I'm very anti spending a lot of money on marketing unless I know it's going to give me a 3x return. And let's face it, I don't believe a lot of people have a great tracking system around marketing to absolutely prove to me there's a 3x return. if you want to spend money on marketing, the ones that I absolutely condone are maybe spend a few bucks on Facebook for a Facebook ad. It's pretty cheap to run command Facebook ads for your new listing or for an open house. But I wouldn't be spending hundreds of dollars. I might be spending 20 bucks in a week or something like that. You might spend some money on paying a graphic designer to design your website. You might be paying some money to have a graphic designer create templates for you, right? I think one of the number one hinders of people in this industry are they all want to get on Canva and KW Command Designs and spend 3 to 4 hours developing an open house flyer or a door knocking flyer or something like that. Those are marketing pieces, and those are 80%. All right. Use the pre-printed templates and put your information in there, or hire a marketing designer to do it for you to make it look beautiful, unless you have a marketing degree. Grocery carts, can't stand. Billboards, yellow pages. Anybody get into yellow pages? Anybody in their database know what the yellow pages are? Anybody ever look at it anymore? Probably not. Moving vans, I mean, unless you're selling 50 to 60 homes a year, how do you even have the expense to buy a moving van, let alone wrap it? I don't mind spending money on people that want to put magnets and maybe do some decals on their car, because then you can work with your tax guy to write off your car. So anyways, I'm not going to hit home on that too much. If you guys are doing it, if you guys just want to do that, just let me know. Here's what I love. Here's what I condone. Here's what I think is very valuable. Prospecting and marketing has to go hand in hand. That's why our database always gets emails as well as phone calls and recorder. That's why if you're farming a neighborhood, I don't want you to just go door knock with nothing in your hand and no flyer, nothing of value. And I also don't want you to just call. I want you to door knock, call, and send out mailers. If you're just building your business, I want you to door knock 1 month, call 1 month, skip a month, door knock 1 month, call 1 month, skip a month. Once you start to get some business, then you're going to call 1 month, door knock 1 month, and send out a mailer the 3rd month. You're going to do that again. And so at the end of 1 year, right, 4 times you've sent out a mailer. That's not that much money for all of the other 2/3 of your activity was prospecting, right? Events, open houses, right? Same thing. Don't just spend a bunch of money on Facebook trying to get people to your open house. Go door knock, go door knock, go cold call, go do those things. All right. Go on and so forth. We'll move on. You have to be doing both in your lead generation methods. If you're only marketing, well, that's fine. It's a long-term play and you're not going to get the immediate results. But on the flip side, you guys, I want to harp on the people in here who are only prospecting. If you're only prospecting, that means you're probably not setting aside time to build a spreadsheet, to understand what you're doing, to track your numbers, right? If you're only door knocking, if you're only cold calling, only prospecting, you're going to miss the opportunity. I'm going to pick on Hallie. She was prospecting for sale by owners. She had a great conversation with somebody, and out of the blue, they texted her and said that they were going to go with their other agent, and they appreciated her call. Well, if she would have basically had that great conversation, right? That was the prospecting piece. Put that person into her database and had something of value being emailed to them maybe once a week, there may have been an opportunity there. Maybe, maybe not. But at least we were doing both, right? Any ahas before we go on? All right. Client referrals always provide value. Share your KW app. And here's how I do this to get client referrals. So everybody in my database, here's a quarterly call for you guys. Hey, Jake, what's going on? It's Bruce. I made a transition into real estate. And I know I talked about to you that a couple of months ago. Hey, one of the things that we absolutely forgot to talk about the first time we chatted was that we have this awesome, powerful KW search app. I'm still getting used to it. Would you do me a favor? I'm gonna send it over to you. Would you download it? I know you're not looking to buy a house, Jake, but would you just play around on it and see what kind of user ability is? And would you would you send me a text with a number between 1 and 10? 10 is it's an amazing resource and I didn't really find any flaws. 1 is it's crap, it didn't work, and I couldn't do anything on it. Would you grade it for me on a scale of 1 to 10 and let me know how it works? Oh, and by the way, Jake, if you know of anybody in your life that's ever thinking about buying a home, they don't have to connect with me right away, because I know some people have a hard time reaching out to a real estate agent before they're like ready. Would you send them my app? If your friends send your app branded to you, to their friend, all of a sudden your command will light up with a new contact and it will start to show you the activity that that friend is doing. Market statistics, right? That's how you start to get in conversation with people, to start to hear about their friends who are like, yeah, I've got this buddy, but he told me he's never going to buy a house in this market because he's going to wait for the market to drop. Well, let's look at the Fed rates. Let's look at this graph. The only way I ever know how to get referrals from people, you guys, is number 2. If you're not asking for business, you ain't gonna get business. Just telling my sister that I was in real estate was not enough. She called me on a Saturday a few years back and said, hey, Bruce, I think we're gonna be putting an offer in on a house. We love it. I'm so excited. What do we do next? I said, what? I said, yeah. I said, did you go to like an open house or something? Like, what are you doing? No. We called the sign. We called the sign in the yard, and we went, and the agent, they met us there, and we like it. We want to make an offer. Like, oh, this is fantastic. Right? I didn't ask for my sister's business. When she told me that they might be thinking about buying a home, I didn't talk and go through the process with it. I didn't share with her how that works. My own sister, I thought just by being passive that she was going to just use me. That is not the case, you guys. Hallie Bandy on here has a situation in which her sister's boyfriend's mother's uncle's cousin-in-law, I don't remember the whole bit, but something about her sister's relation, was looking to buy a house and didn't even call Hallie to tell her. It's because Hallie didn't ask for the business. She just told her sister that she was in real estate. Now, she may have said, yeah, so, if anybody, I'm happy to help anybody that you might know. She's happy to help anybody you might know. Is that a question mark at the end of that, or is that a period?
Yeah, to add to that real quick, I even practiced scripts with my sister every day, and that still wasn't enough for her to think about it. So you really do have to ask or make it very clear, even to your closest family members.
Love that, Hallie. I thought you were going to defend yourself. Yeah, she's practicing scripts with her sister. I will tell you that, like, my parents, my sister, as well as like my core Bruce Carley's friends, my best friends, my conversations, metaphorically speaking, were where I was taking my hands and choking their neck. That's how aggressive I got with my closest confidants. So if Jake's my best friend, it looked like this. Jake, I just missed an opportunity because I have failed to have everybody in my life understand what I do. Jake, I'm a commission based. I know I'm in real estate. The lifeblood of what I do, the way I pay my bills, Jake, is for people to help me, or for me to help people in real estate with real estate needs. So Jake, as my friend, anybody that brings up real estate in your world, I need you to connect me with them. Don't be like my sister. Don't be like this other agent in our office who had her own sister who was practicing scripts with her, blah, 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 blah. Jake, do me that honor. Give me everybody in your life that is looking for real estate services. I'm here to help them. I need you to do that. So Jake, who do you know right now that you can think of in your world that is going through a lifestyle change that may have some real estate needs, such as a death, divorce, newlyweds, new baby, new job, move up or move down, empty nesters? Anybody, Jake? If you guys aren't asking for the business, it ain't coming to you. It may, but it's going to take a long time, and it's going to be very passive, and you're going to miss opportunities. Reward the referrals. Let's talk about that a little bit. All right. The real estate commission says that you shall not give anybody an item or something of value, including monies. I don't know why they say monies, like money, just say money. But you shall not give anybody any item of value or monies for anybody that refers you a real estate lead or business. So how do you reward referrals if you can't do that?
Cookie.
Jasmine, that was so quick. I had no idea what you said.
Oh, sorry. Cookies.
Cookies. I think she said cookies. If you said cookies, I love that. So cookies, let's use that. Yes, cookies, right? You go ahead and argue with me that it's something of value. No, cookies are not going to be something that your referral is going to go turn around and try and flip on Facebook Marketplace. Okay. I love that. Cookies. What else? Come on, guys. Hey, Jake, man, my family and I, we decided we're going to have a barbecue this weekend. And I got a great deal at Costco on some steaks. Man, you like steaks? And he says, yeah. And I say, all right, cool. Why don't you come on over? Don't bring anything, man. This is a barbecue in which it's not like a potluck. We're going to have all the sides. We're going to have all the dishes. What kind of beer you like? What kind of tea do you like? What kind of coffee do you like? I'm going to have everything ready for you. It'd be really cool if you'd come over with your family and have fun with us. And then as soon as Jake gets over to my house, I'm going to give him the biggest damn T-bone steak he's ever seen. And he's going to love it. And then I'm going to say, Jake, man, dude, I really appreciate you and that person that you gave me. It looks like I got them all set up. They're working with the lender right now. They're in a lease for another year. But hey, man, I just really want to thank you for thinking of me and my business, man. But hey, all business aside, let's go play some cornhole. Right? You can reward your referrals through non-money activities, right? What's another way? Besides food. So we're off the food train.
A gift card and a handwritten card, thank you card.
What does the handwritten thank you card say?
Thank you for giving me business. I don't know.
No, perfect. That's Liz, right? I got
Yep.
it. Okay. You're wrong. You can't do that. I was hoping somebody would bring up an example. So you cannot give anything of value to anyone, including monies. So a gift card is included in that. So you can't give anybody anything of value for referring you business. Okay.
Could you take them to coffee?
Yes. Yeah. You can take them to coffee. But you can't have anything in writing that says, hey, Liz, because you gave me Jake Brown as a buyer, I want to take you out for a cup of coffee. You just say, hey, you really go out for a cup of coffee? On me. I just want to shoot the shit with you. Yeah, you can take them out to coffee. You can take them out to dinner. You can take them out. You can have them over for food. You can give them food, such as cookies. You can do that as long as they're not going to resell it, really, right? But what else? Food and drink aside. Come on, give me some ideas. All right, cool. Because I've been riding the gray line my entire career. All right, so here's some things that I do that I have been told just ride a gray line. No one really knows whether or not this is something that you can or cannot do because no one's going to report me because it actually falls in alignment with what the commission says. So what I do is I stack up every single one of my referrals. And once a quarter, I'll take all of those names and I'll email them. And my email says something very generic. It says, hey, I'm going to be doing this last quarter has been great. And it's been great. And I'd like to give back to people. I'd like to give back to people in my life. So I'm going to be doing a little giveaway, a $25 gift card giveaway to the Pump House or something like that, some local restaurant. All I need you to do is verify your name, email, and phone number for me, and I'll enter you in for this drawing. And then what I do is I probably, if there's 5 people that enter, if there's 10 people that enter, let's face it, you're doing it for the people that referred you business. I'm probably going to just go ahead and give everybody I'm probably just going to go ahead and give everybody a gift card. They all thought they were in a raffle, and they all magically won. But it was for me having a good quarter, giving back to my friends and family. It didn't say because you supported my business in the first quarter. It didn't say anything like that. The other thing that I do is I'll go one step deeper. Instead of taking somebody out for dinner, which you're allowed to do, you just can't have anything in writing that says, we're going out to dinner because you gave me a referral. You can't say that. You just say, I'm going to go out to dinner. Let me give you guys another thing to step up your rewards for referrals. Have a dinner engagement. So I bought a kit one time to do a dinner mystery, a murder mystery dinner at my house. I actually had it at my parents' house because my parents' house is like set up for it. It's like perfect for it. And I did a mystery thing. So people got babysitters. They came over. They dressed up in costumes, and we did a murder mystery dinner. I have also rented out, or not rented out, but rented, or whatever you want to call it. I've hired limos to come pick up people at Park and Rides, to go to Nordy's up in Loveland, the barbecue place, to go out to eat. And then the Eagles hockey game tickets were paid for by me. And it was a quarterly VIP event is what I called it. Strategically speaking, every single person that referred me piece of business got invited. So you guys can do things in a systematic or in a structured way to reward your referrals. Thank you with a handwritten note. I love that, but you can't put gift cards in. You can only put your business card in. So I always do handwritten notes. Every time you get a referral from somebody. I give handwritten notes to even the people that want to work with me. So the listing I just put up in Longmont, they have a handwritten note coming to their mailbox that says, hey, I'm so excited to get your listing going. I know we're live on the market. I just really wanted to take some time out of my day to say thank you so much for putting your trust in me, and let's get this thing sold. Okay. Agent to agent referrals, the Command network. So let's take a second and get over here to Command. If you guys are from different areas of the country, if you guys know other people in different areas of the country, right? I've got a lot of high school and college friends that now live in other places. They're on my Facebook page. I can market to them. If they ever have any real estate needs, I can find them an agent to agent referral. You go into Command, you go to the referral center. I instantly go to map. And so I'm from Ohio, and I've got some people that live in Columbus as well as Toledo. And so if I type in Toledo, Ohio, say I got a friend. All right, I'll just zoom in. So I was born and raised around Bowling Green, right in here, went to college down here. And so I've got a lot of friends in the Toledo area. When I zoom in on this, no agents found. Crap, what do? There's no agents found. All right, I do this as an example because in rural Ohio, where I'm from, Keller Williams is still not around. So if you're ever in the referral map, Keller Williams just doesn't have a presence in Toledo yet. So whenever you're in the referral map, try first to go in here and see. If I'm not going to go in here and see, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on Google and I'm going to type in real estate companies in Toledo, and I'm going to call those brokerages and I'm going to say, hey, I got a referral and I want you to pay me 25% of that referral. So I'm glad everybody's on here. This is a very common misconception in real estate. You can do agent to agent referrals with agents outside of your brokerage and still receive a commission or a referral fee. The common standard in our referral world is 25%. Now, if you happen to come across the place that actually has a KW, and when I say actually, KW is everywhere. It's just not really in the very rural suburbs. And I come from very rural area. Oh, and it's also probably because I got this. All right, Columbus. They have many KWs. KW dominates Columbus, Ohio. And so now I've got too many. So now I'm going to go talk to my friends and I'm going to say, hey, where in Columbus are you looking? Are you kind of looking on the east side, the west side, the north side? Where are you looking? Oh, Bruce, we're looking around the university. Oh, well, that sucks. Go blue. And then I'm going to go up to the university and I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to get a list of agents right here. Tons of agents. Now, these little dots are not where agents live. These little dots are where agents have sold properties. So I personally like to use referral agents who are kind of familiar with the area. I don't care if they've had one sale in the neighborhood, but I want somebody who's basically done some business in the area. I don't care if it's one. I got 104 results. Bruce, how do I find good agents? What do I do? Hey, Bruce, I don't want to send somebody to a team. I want to send them to a solo agent because I'm a solo agent and I don't like teams. Hey, Bruce, I want to send them to a team because I'm on a team and I like teams. I want to do it to another team. So you guys can filter through some of these things. So you click on the filter. If you want a luxury agent, commercial agent, land agent, a mastery client. So Maps mastery client, those are people who pay $1,000 a month to coach with a Maps coach. They're probably pretty skilled at what they do. So sometimes I filter through that because I'm a Maps client too. So sometimes my referrals go to people who also pay that money to elevate their career. Maybe I want them to close at least 3 deals in this area. Maybe I want them to have at least 10 closings last year or last 12-month period. You decide, apply filter. Now, this is how you get away from teams. If you want teams, in blue, there'll be some sort of group or team, something like that. But you might see Kyle Edwards here. He's a solo agent. So that's kind of your distinction there. What you do is you add them to your referral network. Some people type in words, I just add. And then you would click on this, and this would say, okay, I want to send Kyle a referral. I want to send him a buyer referral. I want a 25% fee. I always educate people on extending this deadline. Sometimes people just get busy and you have if I'm sending this to Kyle, I'm not just sending it to him. I'm calling him. I'm having a conversation with him. And then I decide I'm going to send it to him. So he already knows it's coming and it's not of an urgency. So sometimes people just take a little bit longer to accept it. I don't know price. I don't know any of that. I'm going to basically fill out the asterisks. Select from database, probably in here. Make sure that person you're referring to is in your database. If they're not, create new contact, and then that's going to add them to your database. Once you get all that filled, hit add and send. They're going to get an email that says, hey, you received a new referral. We're good to go. If you can't find a referral agent, say I click on Kyle's name. So you click on Kyle's name. This is how you get his cell phone number. I click on Kyle's name, I get his cell phone number, and I can't get a hold of him. And I call 4 or 5 different agents, and they all don't answer their calls, or maybe they're answering their calls and they just don't know anything. They don't know anything about the area. They're just not the person I want. The other thing that you can do is you can broadcast this referral. You hit broadcast, and then you type in the same things. And when you hit send broadcast, all 8 of these people will get emails. They're not going to get the contact's information though. It's all anonymous. So then the first person to hit yes, I want that referral, then you get to award that person the referral. So every now and then, if I'm in a time crunch, I will, the broadcast referral will time out. So if you get too far out and there's too many people, you can't hit it. The magic number, I think, is 50. Yeah, it's 50. Anywhere under 50 is where you'll get that broadcast referral button to pop up. Okay. Questions about referrals? just like everything else, you guys, a lot of people will have a system to email all of their referral partners every month just to keep top of mind. I know an agent down in Denver who will call, his lead generation system is to call, where did my command go? Wait. He will go through and he will call everybody in cities to try and figure out if they know of anybody or have any people in their database that are moving to the Denver area. And here's how you do that. So let's zoom out. Okay. Then I want to go from production to referral patterns. And now this is everybody moving out of Denver or moving. Okay, so this says the Firestone area. So people are moving from Firestone to Loveland. That's pretty evident. Firestone to Colorado Springs, Firestone to Rapid City, South Dakota. So you guys can see there's percentages here. And so I don't care for this. There's not a large percentage, but maybe Colorado Springs. So now I'm going to go to Colorado Springs. And I'm going to go and zoom in, and I'm going to go back to production, and I'm going to look up people in Colorado Springs, and I'm just going to start calling. Hey, this is Bruce, and I live up north, and I know a lot of people move back and forth from the northern Denver area to the southern Denver area. Do you know of anybody moving to up here? Do you know of anybody moving up here? Do you know? It's lead generation through other agents. I got a guy down in Denver who has 56 people in his pipeline, buyers and sellers, by just calling agents from this referral pattern system. The other thing that you can look at is referrals received. Where are people moving from in the United States? 23% in Tucson, Arizona. Do you not think that that might be a gold mine of going through here and calling every KW agent in Tucson? Because 23% of referrals coming to Firestone area are coming from Tucson. So he's just going to call all those agents nonstop. Do you have any agents? A lot of people will say, hey, I'm calling to proactively look for leads that you may have in the future. I'm willing to pay a 30% referral fee instead of 25%. Do you know of anybody? And he's building his pipeline, his entire lead list through that. And he likes to do it because he's very shy. He doesn't want to cold call. He doesn't want to door knock. He only wants to talk to KW agents because they're super nice and he loves just doing that. And he also said, look, if they're another office and they're offended by me calling, one, I've really never had them be offended, but two, if they're kind of annoyed, they're in a different state and I don't care. So it's a psychological thing for them. Business referrals. You guys got to have your vendors in your database. You know, my database, my vendors, my painters, all of those guys, they get an email from me once a month, just reminding them that I'm in real estate. We're not going to go over heavy geographic farming because we just did a geographic farming class in the office, but geographic farming for a base level area. Holy crap, it's 11 o'clock. Geographic farming is you picking out an individual specific neighborhood and marketing to them. I guess we actually did talk about it earlier in prospecting. All right, but you need a systematic way. You want to cold call, door knock, send out a mailer. Cold call, door knock, send out a mailer. If you want, set up a time with me and we'll go through a plan, how to optimize and how to maximize prospecting in your farm if you want to pick a neighborhood. Events, seminars, all right? I don't condone going to massive amounts of real estate related events where there's going to be nothing but real estate agents in your area who will never refer you their business. So there's no reason to go to all of these real estate only events. Now, if you're going to a real estate investing event, great. But some other things, maybe town ribbon cuttings where you're going to meet business owners. I love meetup groups, soccer, hiking, biking, fishing, hunting, cards, trivia nights at breweries. So many different ways to get out there and get into the community and touch base with people. All right, we already talked about this, grocery stores, coffee shops. It doesn't matter where you're at, go. All right, capture every lead. Capture every lead. We already went through this slide. Like I said, I review this stuff before we jump on here. But I wanted to start talking about capturing leads and the systematic follow-up when we were talking about marketing and that other graph with the two flow charts. Connect with your sphere. We talked about that a lot today. You got to be proactive in the reach outs and the quarterly calls, and you also need to do some marketing to your sphere. You need to have both prospecting and marketing in everything you do. Build and feed your database. That's easy. Like having a touch program is feeding your database, right? Capture leads from open houses. We just had an Ignite class all about open houses and how walking through open house, how to get more people to your open house, how to door knock around it, right? Build a community with social media, capture leads. We had another Ignite about that, right? A whole Ignite series just on social media. And then today we went heavily into that referral system around your database, making sure your mind is open to the fact that if you have 100 people in your database and 100 people in your database also know 50 people that they know, love, and trust, is your database 100 people or is it really 5,000? Work to get to 5,000. Create it. Go from 100 to 5,000 and work your database, work your sphere. Talk to them about how much you need their assistance in your business. Questions, comments, concerns? We are done, you guys. All right, the rest of these slides are just some more quotes. It's 11 o'clock. Be role playing. All right, I know we do this. I love you guys. You guys, power hour every single Tuesday. Every Tuesday, power hour. We do scripts at 8:30, and then we do power hour from 9 to 10. And that's in the respective locations that the team meeting is going to be. So next week, I believe, yeah, we're starting August already. So next week, first two team meetings of the month are in Firestone. So power hour next Tuesday, 8:30 in the Firestone office. We're going to rock and roll. Then we're going to make some calls. We're going to prospect, right? We're going to prospect from 9 to 10. And then in the flip side, in the afternoon, you guys can work on your marketing campaign to complement the prospecting that you're doing. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for being on here. Any questions before we jump off and stop the recording? Rock and roll. Talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks,
You're
Bruce.
welcome. Thank you, guys.